So, last week we had a budget debate here in Serbia in our parliament, as in we needed to dedicate money to the budget for the next year. And, that discussion here in Serbia, it always goes downhill very quickly. As in, you can have a debate about that about 3 hours, then after those 3 hours, everything goes completely downhill, and any discussion that was had about the budget stops because, well, who gives a fuck after 3 hours of debate? Everything comes down to what the previous government did, and if the previous government is in the opposition, well, that turns into a 5-hour debate on elections, 6 hours debate on the results of the elections, around 2 days of who stole the money, and about 1 more hour after that of actual discussion before the budget is approved or not approved, or amendments are made or whatever. And this time we had the debate, I think it was 3 days long or 4 days. And when I say 3 or 4 days, I literally mean 3 or 4 days. I turned on the TV about 3 in the morning, and the debate was still in Parliament. When I say 3 days, I literally mean 3 fucking days. And I think in Friday or Saturday, I'm not sure. It was the last day of discussion, and the amendments were penned to be discussed. And one of the amendments was proposed by the Female Association of Serbia. It is, in theory, it's a feminist organization, but nobody really gives a crap about them because, feminist ideas are not that prevalent in Eastern Europe because nobody cares. It is more important for me to find a job than, listen to what some feminist is trying to say. But one of the amendments was from them, and it was specifically to the agricultural budget for next year for the Ministry of Agriculture. And the proposal was to make subsidizations for farmers, the money you get if you are a farmer per unit of land you cultivate, to make it equal for men and women. And it is a good idea when you have 50% of the women working in agriculture, and this isn't one of those cases. They made a case that we need equality in giving subsidies to farmers, and I'm on board of that. If a woman is a farmer, she should get the money. If a man is a farmer, also he needs to get the money. But the way that amendment was formulated disgusted me, because it somehow said that, the typical feminist rhetoric, the woman is paid less. In this case, it is really easy to disprove that the woman is paid less. If you find a woman with identical pieces of land and a man with identical pieces of land, they will get the same fucking money. You can't get two different amounts of money if you work the same size of a field or meadow or whatever. It is really moronic to indicate that just because you're a woman and a farmer and you have the same field as a man, you will get less money. First of all, that is completely retarded because the law fucking prohibits it. You can't give out different subsidizes for the same plots of land, because we get the subsidization per plot of land, not per kilogram of fruit produced or whatever the general rule. We get only on the plot of land you work. So the next was, they demanded the equal redistribution of money, and that is a great idea when you have 50% of women in the workforce. In the Serbian agricultural workforce or owner structure or whatever you are trying to point out, they were trying to point out, women make up around 0.5% of the entire working population or owning population in agriculture. So let me make it clear. On 1,000 people who are agriculturists or farmers, or 5 of them are women. So it is very moronic to ask for the same amount of money for women and men when you have about 5 women per 1,000 farmers who get the money and 995 men who are getting those subsidies. It would be really moronic. By that logic, you could pay only 5 men that subsidization, and oh well, it's equal. No matter that 990 people didn't get any money, but equality is very important here. So the amendment passed because we had a sexist scandal like 5 days before that, and it would be a really bad thing for the reputation of the government if they didn't take that the feminist amendment to the budget. It would be a really bad sign when they say what they told. So it is really moronic, but. I don't know. People probably they were just trying to score some political points. Oh, look at me, I'm not a sexist and everything. But I'm really interested in how that amendment will work next year when the subsidies will be given to agriculturists, and I'm really interested in how that will work, because some of my people, their parents are farmers, and those people work very, very hard to make the money to pay for their colleges or medication or whatever they need to. And most, if not 100% of them, are male. I still haven't haven't met a family where a woman is a primary breadwinner and she is a farmer. Like those two things here in Serbia are so rare. You hear like 30-minute snippets in the news about those things, and you don't really pay that much attention to it because most of the women I know said they would never work in agriculture, or if they had land they would sell it because they don't have the wish to live in a village and actually farm land. So I found it really, really, really stupid to make amendment like that, and I'm really interested how the implications of that amendment will work next year. If the actually the people who decide who would get the money will actually give a fuck about that amendment, because in general, Eastern Europe and rules, we are most likely to say fuck it to the rules. And if there are rules, we're always walking on the point of getting a ticket from the law office because you don't respect the law. It's actually very, very commonplace in Serbia and most of Eastern Europe. There are laws, but most of the people don't give a fuck about those laws, and if they do, they're only on the edge, doing just enough not to be arrested and just enough to not give a fuck. So I'm really interested what will happen in about 6 to 7 months when the subsidies actually hit the bank accounts of the farmers.